Okay, movie fans, ever heard of Mittran Da Chaleya?
And it's exciting.
Get ready to add it to your watch list because today's deep dive is taking us straight to the heart of Punjabi cinema.
This isn't just a movie, it's part of a whole cinematic wave.
I'm intrigued.
Bollywood, as Punjabi cinema is affectionately called, is booming right now, and this film, with its catchy title and relatable premise, looks like it's riding that wave right to the top.
We're basing this deep dive on the film's page on the Movie Database, or TMDB.
Released just this month, on October 11th, Mittran Da Chaleya, which, by the way, translates to My Friend's Truck Driver, centers on a young man's search for a wife.
So, for those new to this film, give us the rundown.
Classic storyline, right?
What's the basic premise?
But here's the twist. Our main man is a truck driver, and the film is set against the colorful backdrop of rural Punjab.
Okay, I'm already picturing the scenery.
Well, according to TMDB, he's struggling with eligible women, which is where I suspect we'll find a good dose of humor mixed with family drama.
But finding a wife isn't always smooth sailing, is it?
Apparently, his dad gets a tad overzealous in helping his son find a bride.
Oh, I've seen that movie, The Well-Meaning but Meddling Parent.
Precisely.
Sounds like a recipe for some awkward encounters and maybe a clash between traditional values and modern love.
And that generational clash is something that resonates across cultures.
It might explain why the film is already receiving positive reviews, earning an 88 out of 100 on the TMDB content score, a metric reflecting how much audiences are enjoying the film.
88. That's impressive.
It sounds like this film knows how to connect with viewers.
The film is written and directed by Rakesh Dhawan.
Speaking of which, who are the creative minds behind it all?
The fact that he's both writer and director makes me think he has a very clear vision for the story he wants to tell.
Makes sense.
Leading the charge is Amrinder Gill, a well-known face in Punjabi cinema.
Now let's talk talent.
He's got this great comedic timing and on-screen charisma, so I'm curious to see how he embodies this relatable, everyday guy looking for love.
Who's bringing this story to life?
It's intriguing, right?
And what about the female leads?
TMDB lists Sunanda Sharma as Sata and Sayani Gupta as Jindi.
Are they competing for our truck driver's heart?
Are they close friends, offering advice and support?
Or are they playing roles that completely defy our expectations?
The mystery makes you want to watch and find out.
It definitely does.
That tells me this isn't just a quick, fluffy comedy.
Especially since we're talking about a runtime of 2 hours and 25 minutes. That's a decent chunk of time for a movie these days.
It is.
It suggests a film with layers, a story to tell, relationships to explore.
It even hints at the possibility of twists and turns we don't see coming.
Speaking of twists and turns, maybe it's time we shift gears and delve into some of the more intriguing aspects of Mittran Da Chaleya, like how its setting in rural Punjab adds another layer to the story.
That's where things get really fascinating.
You see, rural Punjab isn't just a location in this film, it's practically a character itself.
It's a world of close-knit communities, deeply rooted traditions, and of course the ever-present hum of truck engines. Even the film's title, Mittran Da Chaleya, emphasizes this connection, suggesting a story deeply intertwined with the rhythms and relationships of this particular world.
And you can't talk about Punjabi culture without talking about trucking, right? It's more than a job, it's a whole way of life there, often passed down through generations. I wonder if that factors into our protagonist's journey in some way.
That's a great point. The truck could represent his family legacy, his independence, or even his connection to the world outside his village. It could even be a source of tension with his father if their ideas about his future clash.
Now that you mention it, the synopsis did say the father unwittingly intervenes. That sounds like a recipe for some serious family drama.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of a film like this. It can blend genres so seamlessly. We might be laughing one minute and then find ourselves emotionally invested in the characters' journeys the next. Speaking of which, I have to ask, the truck is right there in the title. Do you think we're in for some epic trucking scenes? Maybe a high-speed chase?
I was wondering the same thing. A little action would be pretty exciting.
While TMDB doesn't mention any high-octane action sequences, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some visually stunning shots of the truck cruising through Punjab's highways and byways. Those scenes could be a really powerful way to get a glimpse into the protagonist's world, his moments of solitude, maybe even some unexpected encounters along the way.
Okay, now you've got me thinking about those long stretches of road, the open landscapes. It sounds visually captivating. But let's talk about the man behind the wheel of this whole production, Rakesh Dhawan. He's both writer and director for Mittran Da Chaleya, which makes me think he has a very personal connection to this story.
It does make you wonder, doesn't it? Maybe it's a story he's always wanted to tell, drawing on personal experiences or observations. Or perhaps he saw an opportunity to challenge stereotypes or shed light on a side of Punjabi culture that we don't often see on screen. Whatever his inspiration, having one person wear both hats often leads to a singular, cohesive vision.
And that often translates to a more authentic feel for the audience, right? Especially when you have a cast as talented as Amarinder Gill, Sunana Sharma, and Sayani Gupta. That's a lot of star power for one film.
It is. And speaking of the audience, what I find really exciting is the potential for Mittran Da Chaleya to be more than just a feel-good comedy. Could this be a film that sparks conversations, challenges perceptions, or even becomes a crossover hit that resonates with audiences far beyond Punjab?
Now, wouldn't that be something? It's fascinating to think that a story rooted in a specific culture can have universal appeal, touching on themes that people everywhere connect with. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I have to ask the question that's probably on everyone's mind. Where can our listeners actually see this movie?
Ugh, the age-old question for any film enthusiast. And unfortunately, TMDb doesn't offer any specifics about streaming platforms or release dates beyond its initial theatrical release in India on October 11th.
So it sounds like a trip to the cinema is in order for now. But those details tend to surface soon enough, especially with all the buzz surrounding Mittran Da Chaleya. Speaking of things that aren't on TMDb, there's one element we haven't even touched on yet, and it's a big one, especially for a Punjabi film.
And what might that be?
We've talked plot setting, the actors, even the truck. But TMDb is strangely silent on one crucial thing, the music.
Yeah.
It's not a Punjabi film without a killer soundtrack, right?
You're absolutely right. Music is like the heartbeat of Punjabi cinema. It's woven into the narrative, it amplifies the emotions, it gives us those unforgettable dance sequences. Even without knowing the specifics, we can anticipate how important the soundtrack will be to the overall experience of Mittran Da Chaleya.
It's almost like I could already imagine those catchy tunes, those soulful melodies that stick with you long after the movie's over.
And let's not forget the potential for some amazing romantic duets. It's a classic element of the genre and a perfect way to highlight the chemistry between the lead actors.
Oh, I can practically hear it now. A blend of traditional instruments and modern beats, capturing that unique energy of Punjab.
It's incredible how music can transport us like that, isn't it? Even without hearing a single note, we can already feel how integral the soundtrack will be to the entire movie experience. It's the missing piece of the puzzle that ties everything together: the humor, the drama, the romance, the richness of Punjabi culture.
Well said. So, for our listeners who are now itching to check out Mittran Da Chaleya, what's the verdict?
I'd say this is definitely one to keep on your radar. If you can catch it in theaters, go for it. If not, keep an eye out for it on streaming services. Either way, this is a film that promises a delightful mix of entertainment and a glimpse into a vibrant culture, all wrapped up in a story with universal themes that are sure to resonate.
Perfectly put. It's a good reminder that sometimes the most heartwarming and captivating stories come from exploring a world a little different from our own. And who knows, maybe Mittran Da Chaleya will inspire a few road trips of your own.
There you go. Imagine hitting the open road, the film's soundtrack, as your backdrop, mirroring our truck driver's journey of self-discovery. What a thought.
I love it. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Until next time, happy watching.